Welcome back, my friends, to the darkest of times in Germany. There's a lot happening in 1936. The Gestapo arrests 800 anti-fascists in Berlin as a preventive measure for the Olympic Games. Opel fires striking workers. There's something interesting. Reacts to strikes due to wage cuts by letting striking workers go. Yeah, I mean, that's the cold treatment, but also showing that they don't really need the workers anymore, which is a foreshadowing of a lot of crisis, right? Gründgens marries Hopper. Gustav Gründgens, famous player of things like Mephisto, I'm not really sure, marries the equally famous actress Marianne Hopper in Berlin. And now it's our turn. What can we do again to survive, to resist, to do what we can? Break into the factory. Yeah, that would be really nice. We could get a fake passport. With a fake passport, we could get to meet an official and buy intel. These are all very long things, and we don't have that much time anymore. Let's see, we have a lot of marks and a paint bucket. We should maybe just buy books or something like that and then distribute them. That would be one of the most effective things. We could talk to academics again. Find black market deals. That is tempting though. Gerhard is just bad at that. Maria Esser and Wilhelm. We could gain some random pieces of equipment. That's nice. Two to three. Three we would get with 50. Well, why not? Let's try that. 3 out of 3, and if we add another one like Karin, that would make sense. Okay, alright, we have an official judge here. They're on the case, they're okay. Let's find that, let's do that. There are also 2, so let's give them the bicycle. Let's find out what's in the black market. And other than that, we need to prepare for the next round. We need donations in wedding. Kurt thinks he's good at that. And that's true. He's definitely a good choice for that. Gerhard. Ooh, has too much heat. Karin. Karin is also good for that. Yeah, well, that's not bad. But Kurt, it's so often that we cannot really use him. Let him collect donations in wedding. And then we are going to Kreuzberg. Oh yeah, Karin. Karin, you're not good at that. How about him? Oh, goodness me. Oh, that's not a good choice for her. Let's see. We could go and buy some more paint. That has worked fine. Meeting a friend. How is that with Gerald? Not really good. Karin. Not really good, but better. Meeting a businessman. We're not really into businessmen, unfortunately. Talk to workers with Gerhard. Gerhard is in deep trouble. It's like that. It's like that. We'll try to buy paint. Oh, Gerhard. Hmm. 2 to 3. I think we need to gamble this. Have some more paint. Let's go. Because we need to paint some slogans. The truth needs to come out. Here we go. I wish us luck for the paint. Go to shop from where he lives to avoid the shop owner recognizing him when buying paint for the group. And we get 2 paint buckets. That's nice. And now, the money. Court worth. With the known supporters among workers in wedding and success. So good. It's also good for the morale. And here, Maria is at visits shady places and dark alleys, asking for someone who could sell illegal equipment to the group. We had 3 stacks of paper. And she's been seen, though. It's okay, but we need morale. Conference in Geneva decides on refugees from Germany. Provisional Convention on Refugees from the German Reich is adopted to the Schweiz. Yeah, Switzerland. And Hindenburg reaches New York in record-breaking time. That is the balloon, you know, the airship. Within 51 hours from Frankfurt to New York. That's really not bad for an airship. I mean, it's crazy. More tourists than ever. 35% more foreign tourists come to Germany than the previous years. Wow, they have really been advertising, right? So, the good news. When I arrive at tonight's meeting, I overhear Gerd Hagelstein telling a story to the others, mocking the Nazi salute and the marching and the music. What a load of junk. What did you see, Gerhard? I went to see a motion picture shown at the cinema. There was a short film before the show, of course, courtesy of her Goebbels' ridiculous propaganda, framing Hitler as a shining hero, benevolent and wise, welcoming our visitors. Yeah, that's a little bit... Yeah, it's strange. It's all the show. Yeah, that's what he knows, probably. Goebbels is prioritizing motion pictures, interestingly. I've heard that Goebbels is heavily invested in using these pictures shows for his propaganda, I say. That's true, says Gerhard. There must be a way for us to use this for our cause. I heard there will be a live television station at the Olympic Stadium. It's like live radio, but with moving pictures, says Gerhard. If you manage to get in there and show pictures or even a movie of some of their atrocities, we could reach thousands. We would reach thousands of people at once, and the truth couldn't be stopped. Finish his sentence. Gerhard nods. This could be something, I think. Ooh, the big thing. The big thing. Let's see. If there's anything big here, tell the world. That's probably it, but we are not going to be able to do that. The Freedom Bell. What does that need? Blowing up the Olympic Bell Tower. Nah, that's not something we're going to do as Catholics. Gerhard. Ooh, Maria. You're so much in danger. You just need to go there. Let's see. We have 42 marks. Yeah, we'll put you in this. You need to go into hiding. It is as it is. It's too dangerous for you to do anything. We can write slogans on walls. That's a good thing. Would it be morale for us? I'm not sure. Let's see. Wilhelm Etter. Karen Leopold. Something rather big. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. How about this? Ooh. Not really good. Let's do it. Let's do something kind of big. It will be good for the morale too. Writing slogans on walls. Wish us luck, we will need it. I'm enjoying a cup of coffee on a sunny afternoon outside one of my favorite cafes when a man in a suit approaches me and asks with a thick British accent, Good afternoon. May I intrude for a moment to ask you a few questions? Will it take long? I promise it won't take long at all, he says. All right then, have a seat, I say. What kind of questions do you have? I'm John Dunworth from the Western Morning News in England. I'd like to collect the thoughts of everyday citizens during my visit to Berlin. A journalist, could this be helpful? One of our most important goals right now is to get the truth out to the public. And here I am talking to a journalist. He pulls out a small notebook and pen. All right then, may I ask your name and whether you're a German citizen? Call me Schmidt. My name is Kurt Schmidt, and I'm indeed a citizen. Before I finish the sentence, I notice something out of the corner of my eye. A bald man is standing just a few steps away, not facing us directly, but clearly listening in. We're being observed. We have to stop this. This guy is Gestapo. Mr. Dunworth smiles. Forgive me for jumping to politics right away, Mr. Worth, but what are your thoughts on Herr Hitler? In England, we've heard horrible things, but I haven't seen any of the persecutions I've read about. Will delay. Well, it's all rather complicated story with Herr Hitler, of course, I say. The man standing near us turns his head slightly and he glares at me. There's no doubt this is a warning. He's the government handler for this journalist, probably Gestapo. I feel a lump in my throat. What do? We won't tell the truth. Our resistance group is much more important than this journalist. If we get removed, nothing good will come of this, especially for the rest of the group. I know what my mission is, but my mission is also to stay alive and out of prison. Dunworth leans forward. Seeing that the story is complicated, perhaps you could enlighten me. Yes, let me help you understand. There may have been some unpopular policies at the beginning. I glanced nervously at the handler, who was still glaring at me. But overall, we Germans are fine with the Führer. It's a lot of fuss about nothing, really. The fear comes in. Ah, I see. The handler gives me a subtle nod. I feel like a traitor. You'll excuse me, I must get to my next appointment, I say in a rush. I take my leave. I feel ashamed, but if I end up in the hands of the Gestapo, I don't want to think about it. More supporters. Yeah, and especially here. Write slogans on walls, and it is a big success. Yes, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're going to talk about. But Hagelstein has retreated to a safe place where nobody knows him. When he returns, he feels much safer than before. That's good. So the morale hasn't declined so much, and we have a lot of new supporters. Jews are not allowed to become soldiers anymore. The German War Ministry orders that Jews may not be drafted into the Wehrmacht. There's still some in, but no additional ones. Friendship agreement with Austria. On the radio, Goebbels talks about a friendship agreement with Austria, in which, above all, the recognition of Austrian independence by Germany is guaranteed. Yeah, you know how that worked out, right? Austria voluntarily joined later. Spoiler alert. A new airport in Frankfurt. A new airport is opened in Frankfurt am Main. That will become probably the most important one in Germany today. The Frankfurt airport. Yeah, there's still this. You can see that there's definitely a pause to all the terror, but there's still an advancement on this cause to cause trouble for all people who are not supporting the regime. Colonel Leopold is talking about watching the games in tonight's meeting. I feel conflicted. On one hand, I feel a sense of pride. I mean, I want our athletes to do well and to win gold, and we really are competing so well. Yeah, I'm excited for the athletes too. When the regime uses the victories of our athletes to prop up the narrative of the superiority of the Aryan race, it just poisons the whole thing, I say. Karen nods. They use a national pride to define what they are against. Yeah, I mean, it's basically an outlook on life that is against everything. Use national pride to define what they're against, I say. National pride should be for something, right? That's much more constructive and really helping not only people, but the world in general. Let's see what we have. A little bit of money. Really not much. What can we do here? We could produce leaflets manually because we have... Ah, that's great. Let's produce some leaflets. And then spread leaflets. But what do we need to do to get access to this? Gain access to a factory. Ah, we have a missing stack of leaflets. Could produce them manually. Is there a different way? We could print leaflets, but first we need to set up a workshop. That's too late. So we'll produce some manually. With cord. Could we have more here? Maybe Maria. So we'd have 2. Marks wouldn't help. Logically. Maria gets this up to 3. Yeah, that's much better, right? 2 to 3. Karin. Gerhard. No, let's do this together with Maria. And as we're 2, we'll get the bicycle as well. Here we go. And we still need a lot of money. Collecting donations in wedding. Will be good. Yeah, let Karin do it. She wants to do it. Gerhard Hagelstein. In Kreuzberg again. Yeah, he's the best. He's the best for it. Could we give him something like this? Yeah, I mean, it would increase his chances, but still not that great. And Wilhelm Etter now. Talking to a businessman would probably not be his thing. Talk to the Christian community. No. Not at all. Buying paper. Or paint. Talking to workers could unlock explosives. Not too good. Maybe he would be good at talking to academics. I mean, kind of okay, but I'm not sure. It should be good enough. Just let him do it. We're gonna spread leaflets later. Being supported very well. And now Gerd Hagelstein visits the group known supporters. What does he get? A lot of money. And writing and printing. Oh, the police. Let's hide. Police are leaving. Only producing a small amount. And we got arrested. Can Leopold visit the group's known supporters? Let's hide. Stay calm and move on. Always. She's successful. Not as much as we wanted. She has been seen, but now we have a big, big problem. Wilhelm Etter meets with friends and colleagues. Most of them are academics. And the academics despises the regime, and he can do something. Knocking on our door. I've been arrested. The moral of the group decreases to 25. It's been 3 years since the last time I was arrested, but when they arrest me and take me to the station in Parker Street, the painful and humiliating memories feel as fresh as if it all happened yesterday. I hear someone enter the room, where they have tied me to a chair. I look around. The light dazzles me and I can't see anything. Mr. Worth? A male voice says, "Why am I here?" "Why don't you tell me that?" asks my interrogator. "My colleagues have good reason to bring you here. I could simply confront you with it. But why don't you make our lives easier and just admit it?" Could I speak to a lawyer? "Stop playing stupid. Do you feel safe because foreign journalists are in town? Let me tell you this, you are not safe. They cannot help you." He comes closer and punches me in my gut. "What do you want from me?" "The last thing we need right now is troublemakers, who are your accomplices. We know you are planning to sabotage the games. How? What exactly are you planning?" "I have no idea what you're talking about." Hits me again, harder this time. I can't breathe, and I feel the metallic taste of blood and vomit in my mouth. The interrogation is over. What comes next is only torture. I lose consciousness, and they take me to a cell. Procedure continues. First questions, and then, when I don't answer, torture until I lose consciousness. I have to stay strong. The moral of the group is very low, and so is your own. The members discuss giving up. It's tempting to leave all of this behind. The government of the public resigns, and the putschists under the leadership of General Franco are taking over. Germany offers help to Franco putschists. The German Reich government promises military and logistical aid to the delegates of the coup d'etat, General Franco. Moscow calls on Spanish people to arm themselves. Workers, peasants and citizens, take arms and defend yourselves against the fascists. Franco took over. One of the bloodiest chapters in Spanish history too. July 26th, 1936. I have to tell you all, the regime's cover-up is working, says Gerhard Hagelstein during our meeting. We're free again, it seems. How do you know that? So a tourist from England approaches me and asks me if I'm from Berlin, and I tell her I am, and she says, "I heard awful things about Germany, but now I'm here, and everything's so beautiful, and everyone's so nice. Perhaps this Hitler fellow isn't so bad." Did you tell her the truth? As a matter of fact, I did, says Gerhard. I looked over my shoulder first to see if anyone else was listening. I told her about the prisons, the brown shirts, the beatings, and murders, the laws against Jews. I had to force myself to stay calm just talking about it. Well, that's at least one more person who knows the truth. Exactly, I think I will do this more often. Educating one person at a time, so they can spread the truth in their home country, says Gerhard. Court. What do we need to do? We need to be more secretive. And we need to do something for the morale. We could make the records disappear. That would help. It would be very costly, but... Spreading leaflets is what we wanted to do. Will we do that here? Or where? I mean, we got the leaflets now. We should have a party too, but... yeah, maybe, I mean, the morale is very low. We'll have a party. Supporter offers us to have a party on his farm close to Berlin. Sounds like a great opportunity to forget all of our troubles for a moment. To avoid that the group dissolves, we have to do this. Otherwise, everyone will leave. That would be terrifying. We're still being supported, thankfully. It's a nice and sunny day when we meet at the shore of Mugglesey Lake outside the city. Hennes, a supporter of the group, has invited us and other guests to stay for the weekend. We'll enjoy it. No one talks about politics. Simply music, laughter, and appreciation for the wilderness. This feels good, doesn't it? Asks Gerhard Hagelstein. What do you mean? This, forgetting everything that's going on and just enjoying life, he says. Do you think it will ever be like this again? Not fearing what's in the news and what might be the next atrocity they came up with? I don't know. We've been arrested. We're arrested. Usually we're positive, but we've been arrested. We're shaken. Well, I have to see, I say. Organized a party for our group. It's a great success. Dancing, forbidden music. We're elated to forget all our troubles for the moment. Having a party, yes. In front of the Berlin Zoologischer Garten train station, flags from all over the world flutter in the mild wind. I wait for my guest, holding a sign that says Thomas Fox. My guest is late. Should I just leave? No, we'll wait a little longer. Just as I'm about to give up, a man comes toward me, accompanied by two boys wearing the white uniforms of the Olympic Honor Service. I recognize him as the journalist from the Hindenburg. He shakes my hand and smiles. Hello, I'm Thomas Fox. We met on the Hindenburg, remember? Of course, he says. He turns to the boys. Thank you very much. He gives each of them 1 mark. They thank him in decent English and leave. How was the journey? It was great, thank you. German trains have become much better. Still not as good as our American ones. But you are getting there. After a stop at Tom's hotel to drop off his luggage, we head straight to the Olympic Stadium. It's an impressive sight. The Olympic Stadium is covered in banners. Thousands of people are queuing up. The many entrances that lead inside. Loudspeakers set up under every tree play music and blare announcements. 2 towers, one with a swastika, the other with a clock. Or the Olympic rings between them. Wow, says Tom. I have to agree. Volker gave us VIP tickets that allow us to cut the line to get inside. Inside we realize without surprise that we have premium seats. Take seat. We sit down and the spectacle begins. Hitler and his men walk over the field. A little girl dressed in white hands in flowers, then salutes him with an outstretched pale arm. The crowd cheers enthusiastically. Is this how a normal politician behaves? So what do you think about all of this now? Do your presidents behave like this? I asked Tom. Well, he says, the ways to say hello are not as strict in the US as they are here, but in general, I think every politician in the entire world loves to be seen with little children. Makes them appear human. But Hitler is not a normal politician, I have to tell you this. It's not normal. How can you ignore this, I say? You're probably right, says Tom. Sometimes he behaves just like any other politician. Hitler takes the girl's hand and leads her from the field before ascending to the podium. Pompous music starts to play, grabbing people's attention. Hitler will use this opportunity to let the world hear him speak. To my surprise, Hitler gives the shortest speech I've ever heard from him. He declares the Olympic Games to be open. End of speech. The Olympic fire is lit, doves fly, pompous music plays, and even the Hindenburg flies in and covers with the audience. A spectacle Whatever you think about their ideology. This is extraordinary. They know how to impress people. Is this why the Germans fall for this guy? Because you like being fascinated? That's what he does so well, like Wagner, asks Tom. I don't think we're easier to impress than the Americans. Good point, Tom nods. However, presidential inaugurations and World's fairs seem like shoddy carnivals in comparison to this. I think this little man with his ridiculous mustache has now impressed the world too. By now the national teams are marching by, greeting Hitler and the audience. Some raise their right arms, so it seems. Look, now even the French team is saluting Hitler. I believe that is what they call the Olympic salute, says Tom. It looks disturbingly similar though. But whatever you call it, the world is saluting Hitler right now. And can you blame them? This here is so impressive that I'm beginning to understand why everyone applauds. So no one cares about the truth if the show is good. To tell you the truth, says Tom, there are quite a few people in the United States who believe Hitler is right and who wish for our own version of him. We have anti-Semites too, and even most of those who consider themselves Democrats or at least liberal-leaning are much more afraid of communism, the Soviets, than they are of Hitler at this point. Wow. We must change their minds. The thing is, he says, there are all those rumors, sure, but I have never seen a concentration camp. And neither have my readers. I never saw a Jew being mistreated, and neither have my readers. Bring me proof, and I might be able to convince them. What kind of proof? Pictures, or even better film. Bring me something, and I will make sure it gets published at home. I'll bring you something. Stay for another 2 hours and watch the athletes passing by, paying tribute to the German Chancellor before the event starts to wind down. So, what's next on the agenda? Asks Thomas. What has Fark planned for me? I'll bring you to one of the better places in Berlin. You're making me curious, Kurt. Let's go before everyone else starts to leave the stadium as well. We take a taxi to a place at Kudamm in Charlottenburg that Fark had recommended. Wow, says Tom when we arrive. This looks just like the old Berlin, the one I know from 1929. But I had heard that there was no nightlife anymore. This must be staged for visitors. The Nazis closed most places like this 2 years ago. Seems like they've reopened them. It looks exactly like one of the places I used to go to, says Tom when we enter. The dance club really does look just like they did before Hitler. Women in extravagant dresses and bold haircuts, elegant men in tuxedos, everyone dancing and chatting. We take a seat at the bar so we can see the distance. We take a seat at the bar so we can see the dance floor where they seem to be playing. Wait, are they playing jazz? I know this song, says Tom. They're playing it at every bar in New York right now. I can't believe it. For 3 years the Nazis have banned all kind of jazz music from being played in public. They called it un-German and degenerate. But here we are. A big place on Kudamm is playing American jazz. I don't know what's going on here. They banned this kind of music. Given this, says Tom, making a gesture toward everything around us, I'm afraid most American visitors will come home and tell their neighbors that Germany is doing just fine. That it is a country just like any other, and that all those stories about daily cruelties and mass oppression are exaggerated. We need to tell them the truth. I understand, says Tom, but I am afraid the staging is just too good. No one will believe you. There's only one thing that would make Americans turn against the Nazis. What is it? What would make the US turn against Hitler? War. The only thing the average American is more afraid of than communism is another war. The last one almost destroyed our economy for good. Most people are still convinced that the Great War caused the Great Depression. If you manage to find yourself proof. War. The only thing the average American is more afraid of than communism is another war. The last one almost destroyed our economy for good. Most people are still convinced that the Great War caused the Great Depression. Managed to find proof that not only Hitler is planning a war, but that it will be a war that affects the US, then you might get them on your side. He's planning a war, he's just hiding it at the moment. It won't be easy, but I will find your proof, I say. Good, let me know once you have it, says Tom. Believe. We call it a night, and I go back to my place and think about what I've seen today. Back at my place, I think. We must not fall for their show. That's all it is. It's all staged to deceive people. No matter what charade the Nazis played today, their intentions are dark and their plans are evil. It's all staged. We must not fall for their farce. And we kind of survived. The Olympic Games have opened. And the Führerreich Chancellor Adolf Hitler opens them at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. Italy supports General Franco. He sends planes and ammunition to the insurgents Franco-putschists in Spain. England and France send warships to Spain to protect their own population from the uprising. Yeah, I mean... 2nd of August 1936. There's something I don't understand about these Nazis and racists, says Wilhelm Etter during our meeting. How can they be so selective about whom they hate? Did something happen today? Sort of, says Wilhelm. There was a line of people waiting to get autographs from one of the American athletes, and he was black. At least a couple of the people in line had that swastika armband on. Don't they see the hypocrisy? Well, their whole worldview is irrational. I don't expect Nazi hatred to be rational, I say. And that concludes this episode for now. We'll meet each other in the next episode very shortly. Have a great time until next time and happy gaming. Resist what you don't think is right and support what you think is right. All the best to you and see you soon. Happy gaming!